Channeling Sunday. And this comes from Wallace and Wallace. There's no date of when it was published, but the book is A Guide to Mediumship in Psychical Unfoldment. And that happens to be available the other end of the room. And they tell us that the thoughts we cultivate place us in rapport with the corresponding spheres of thought. In other words, what we think, what we focus on, attracts other people. You ever notice that when you're standing in line sometimes at the grocery store, a conversation just starts up? For whatever reason. That is the law of attraction in action. Now, when you choose to continue that friendship or to develop that friendship, well, then you transition into the law of association because you both have something in common. So your thoughts that you send out there, and you send them out there, you're constantly broadcasting. Your thoughts are attracting similar thoughts to them because somebody else is attracting your thoughts to themselves. So we kind of attract each other. And they go on to tell us that those who habitually live on a good moral plane are impervious to the intrusion of the mischievous influences from the borderland and the mortal realm. Probably because they hear you talking and they think, oh, they're a know-it-all. I don't want anything to do with that. Make sense?
Very true.
Very true.
Oh, I just want to throw this out there. There might be a cultural aspect to that. You know, just your example of talking to someone in line. Or Americans do that. Europeans do not. In fact, they resent it. They find it very rude. Do not talk to them in elevators. Do not make chit-chat in a line.
It probably has to do with personal space.
Yes. Yes.
Because here in the United States, our personal space is like 6 feet out. You get somebody who doesn't like their personal space being invaded, they get uppity when you get within 6 to 4 feet of them. However, in those cultures where the population is more dense, that personal space shrinks to within anywhere from a few inches, well, usually within 6 to 24 inches. That's their personal space there. The more dense the population, the smaller it is.
I read something about, Danes, I don't know. If you're at a bus stop, you got to stand back here. You know, in America, the people are clustered around. No, you got to be back here. You can't crowd the person in front of you who waits for the bus. So it seems almost the opposite. The more dense they are, the bigger space they.
They pick up your vibes. They get too close.
Get away from me.
Get away from me.
I don't like being crowded, I know that.
Well, thank you for that little bit of information you shared with us. Some of you know me. My name is Robert. My name is Robert Dale. This person has spoken to you about me because I used to speak through the beloved Emma. And what I brought through with her, I'm going to share with you this time now. And that is truth. Truth is very important. Too many of you are caught up in the idea that there is a universal truth. And the only universal truth that exists is your truth. Not mine, not his, not anybody else's, but your truth. Test it. Measure it. Don't just accept it. Anybody can say this is the truth. But the most important thing is whether this resonates with you, because if it does not resonate with you, then it is not true. I apologize. I know how you disliked our colleague. I am a little forceful. But that is what got things done. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you. I was there when this movement began. I saw how it took root. I saw how it began to grow before my passage. This is what the spiritualist churches did. This was how they taught people. This is what the platform was for, to teach. And I want to congratulate you on that. I am not going to take up your time because there is another here that you prefer who has a lesson to share with you. As you recall, our last lesson, I mentioned reincarnation. I've already started to share the idea of reincarnation with this one, but I want to share it with you. Reincarnation is a natural phenomenon. But why is it a natural phenomenon? Did you know that there was a time when your lifespan would have lasted 1,000 years? Can you imagine that? 1,000 years to live. It was as it is written in the Bible, where they lived 900, 1,200 years. They were able to access all of this information that is available. And then somehow they became misled. Where and when it happened, we do not know. They have not shared it with us. We can only catch glimpses, just as you catch glimpses of us. And as we move through our different spheres, our different levels, we can catch a little more of the picture. But for some reason, as your life shortened, the availability of your ability to grasp this information for yourselves also shrank. Now, the purpose of reincarnation is for growth. The soul is for growth. It must grow. It's a natural thing. And this body that you see here, the one I cast aside some 100 years ago, don't think it is something to be discarded, that it is worthless, because it is not. The soul, your soul, created the body that you are in. This is not a tomb. This is not a prison. This is not something to misuse, as the Gnostics did in their time. The pursuit of knowledge is wonderful, but if you don't know how to use that knowledge, well, there's a colorful expression, and I don't feel this is the place for it. So maybe I can come up with something else. It's about as useful as having 2 reverse gears in your vehicle.
got it, or Joseph. I got it.
This one is open too much. The soul forms the body. And as you progress, the soul releases those things that are no longer useful to it. Think of it as an onion. An onion is a wonderful metaphor because as you pull things apart, you get closer and closer to the center. And that's where the soul is. The soul is in the middle here, somewhere. And as you progress in your journey, a layer goes away. Remember the snake. What is the most amazing thing about the snake? As the snake grows, it sheds its skin. Because if it doesn't shed its skin, it cannot grow. What is it about a turtle? They say a turtle lives in its home. However, its home is part of its body. The soul is like that too. The body is not separate from the soul. That is where everybody became misled. They started moving away. That's why mankind is where it is at now, because it has forgotten that humankind is one. So they settled for mankind and they separated themselves. It was just as bad when I walked this earth. So nothing has changed. Oh, your weapons are more powerful than what they were then, but the mind is still there. Same attitudes, same habits. We take so long to progress. And nature had to do something to correct this. What is it that we see in nature? Well, we talked about the serpent, how the serpent sheds its skin. The soul must shed portions of this body. You think just this body here that you have is the only one possessed? No, it's not. So we have reincarnation. And through reincarnation we grow. We shed one body to the next. And you know, the thing is that so many people are of the opinion, again, misled. Make your passage and everything will be so much better. Heaven does not exist on the other side. Heaven is all-encompassing. And yet, the teachings insist that heaven is on the other side, and we have to get to the other side. So, is the grass greener on the other side of the fence? Because once you get to the other side of the fence, well, guess what? The grass is greener on the other side that you just left. You know, why is the grass always greener on the other side of the fence? It seems like the sun is shining more on everything else than yourself. But the sun shines on all. God shines on all. Ever wondered why there are no favorites among God? Because we're all one. It's an entirely different lesson there. And we're not going to go into that. I'm not going to save it for a later time either. The purpose of this lesson is to help you understand the purpose of reincarnation and to comprehend the idea that this body is not something to just discard. You should take care of it. This body is part of the soul. If you take care of your soul, you take care of your body. But your soul needs more than just all this information that you are trying to bring to you. You have to apply wisdom. And what is wisdom? Wisdom is love or nurturing, as this one likes to put it. Very good the way he does that. Nurturing brings wisdom. Because what happens when you nurture others? You learn. Now, when this one speaks to you about remembering those times when you were nurtured and when others nurtured you, that sensation that you felt, did you feel a little giddy? A little lighter? Yes? That is moving up. The only way to move up is to get rid of that stuff that's holding you down. Get rid of the sandbags. We had lots of balloons when I walked. Lots of balloons. And the idea was if you wanted the balloon to rise up, you either had it more hot air or you let loose one of the sandbags. You let loose some of the weight. That's what kindness does for you. The most basic teaching of spiritualism is kindness. Yes, kindness. Because with kindness, even though you could just put a hole in that bag of sand, it's still the first step to lightening everything. And what is it that the soul tries to do? The soul tries to move upwards, not towards the light, but to become part of the light. When you speak of being one with God, you are moving into the light to be part of the light. And the thing is, you don't have to move to the other side to be part of the light because you are part of the light now. Oh, it's so wonderful. Please excuse my friend. He gets very excited when he is here, as you can see. There are not very many spiritualist churches that do this anymore. They become more traditional. But I do wish to continue the lesson with reincarnation. Not everybody subscribes to the idea of reincarnation. And not everybody understands reincarnation. The Buddhists are very close. Very close. Pythagoras was very close. Yes, the consciousness, which is the soul, moves from realm to realm, not body to body, but realm to realm, and each realm has its own body. When you make your passage from here to what you call the other side, you will go into a realm, and you will still have a body, but that body will be according to that realm. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Yes. Oh boy. Don't wait to do over there what you can do here. This is the primary message with spiritualism, is that you don't have to die to go to heaven, because heaven is right here. You merely have to begin by being kind, begin by reaching out and helping all of those. So you're going through a rough patch,
The whole world is going through a rough patch. All the more reason to reach out and hold someone. To reach out and touch someone so that they know that there is someone there. That is what is happening. Every time the world encounters this, and if you look at nature, there's the cycle. Every time the world experiences this, it is because nobody is able to reach out and touch anybody for whatever reason. Fear, well, fear is overrated. Too many people put value in fear. It's not fear that prevents people from reaching out and touching another one. It's the reaction that the other person has towards them. And we get so caught up in the reactions, or rather how people have reacted toward us, that we focus more on what they did to me instead of on what can I do for them. Something for you to contemplate. Yes, and so. Are there any questions that any of you might have? Then you understand. Okay.
Yes, a very good message.
Thank you. You
Kindness.
understand. You're still guessing. But that's okay. Guesswork is what gets us where we need to be. So you keep doing it. And now it is time to leave. And we will meet with you again. You are all very wonderful and very important.
Thank you.
Thank you for the message.
Thank you.
God bless.